Nomadland. This is a film starring Frances McDormand. She plays a recently widowed woman who is unemployed and decides to live in her van and travel across the country. This film, and I just looked this up before I started doing this review, this film is the odds-on favorite in Vegas right now to win Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards. It's received critical acclaim, many people declaring it the best movie of 2020. I finally watched it on Hulu, and it's good. It's a good movie. If this wins Best Picture, it would make sense because it would continue the tradition of the Academy giving the Best Film Oscar to a movie that probably doesn't deserve it, but there's greatness in here without a doubt. I forge my own opinions, and if I thought that this movie was the best movie of 2020, I'd say it. If I thought it was the worst movie of 2020, I'd say it. Overall, despite all the hype it's gotten, I think it's fine. Like I said, there's great things in it, and it starts with the direction. Chloe Zhao, I believe, is the name of the woman who directed this, and this movie looks incredible. Like, I would not be surprised at all to see her win Best Director. This is an intimate story, and yet the scope of it, it's very grand with its cinematography. Like, this is one of the few movies I've watched on a streaming service where I actually do wish I would have seen this in theaters. There's a lot of wide, sweeping, epic shots, and it's incredibly well shot. I give her a lot of credit. Frances McDormand is great in this. All the performances are. Frances McDormand is one of our finest actresses because she is, and this, I don't mean for this to sound mean. In fact, it's not. It's a compliment, but she has a very painful face. She's very subtle with her performances. She's able to convey tremendous suffering without, really going for the Oscar on every single take. She's a master of subtlety. She was in Fargo, she was in Three Billboards, and she is in this. The best thing this movie has going for it is its authenticity. This movie feels at points like a documentary, and I'm willing to bet that many of the people they talk to in this movie aren't actors. I'm willing to bet they are actual nomads. The movie just has that very raw feel to it. It is very intimate, and I give it a lot of credit for that, the same way I praised The Sound of Metal, and the same way I ripped a movie like Music, which lacked any sort of authenticity. This is a film that does feel genuine and raw and authentic, and I give it a ton of credit for that, and I think it's one of the big reasons why people are declaring this one of the better movies of 2020. This is a well-made movie, and much like many movies I've talked about recently, not Music, but many of the Oscar movies I've talked about recently, it's well-made, it's well-shot, it's well-acted, but it's where that personal taste thing comes in again, because I'm sorry, but like, the people out there who watch this and who are praising this as one of the best movies of the year, were you really entertained by it? Come on. I mean, you can't tell me that this movie is pretty boring. And because I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to watch my reviews and say, you think everything's boring. What, did you want explosions and action? No. Action is not explosions and punching. Action is movement. It's character development. Promising Young Woman was a movie I gave a 10 out of 10 to. In every page of that script, the characters grow. There is action. It's not explosions and big elaborate set pieces, but it's movement. It's character growth. After scene number 10 of Frances McDormand stoically looking off into the distance as the sun went down, I went, okay, we got it. We got it. She's thinking. She's contemplating her life. Okay, we get it. I've heard a lot of people refer to this movie as a slow burn. I don't think that's fair, because a slow burn indicates that something takes its time and then it really hits you with a big payoff. There's no real payoff in this movie. Now, there is growth near the end. The character that Frances McDormand plays does have an arc, but that wasn't enough to save it from what was a pretty dull viewing experience. It's better than it probably could have been, because I could have so easily have seen this be a movie in which I watched it and was just bored to tears, but the acting is so good and the direction and cinematography are so wonderful that I do recommend this movie. I do think people should watch it. With every movie I see, especially these big Oscar movies, I try to understand why people are declaring them as one of the better movies of the year. I like this more than I like Judas and the Black Messiah, but I understand more why people thought that was like the best movie or a movie that should win Best Picture. I don't view this movie as like important enough or interesting enough for people to be declaring it like the best movie of the year. I don't get it. Like Chicago 7, I get why people thought that was one of the better movies of the year. Mank, I get why people thought that was one of the better movies of the year. That was a movie I didn't love. Chicago 7, I adored. This is fine. It's fine. It's well made. It's well acted. It's well directed, but I just found the subject matter completely dull and completely boring, and I thought the script was so-so. It could be a movie that I enjoy more over time. I could see that happening, but for the time being, a mild recommendation. Everything in it that is good is great, and for that reason, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Almost didn't fit it in the frame there. 7 out of 10 for Nomadland. It is a good movie. I'm sure it's going to get nominated for a bunch of awards, and I'll be sitting on my couch holding my fists up like that, wondering why the hell they gave this Best Picture. But yes, it is a good movie. I do recommend it. So that'll do it for another review. I don't know if I'm going to do a top 10 movies of 2020. I think I've pretty much seen all the movies I want to see. Maybe I'll do a video at some point, talk about what my favorite films of the year are. But yep, I will be right back here at some point soon with some more movie reviews. Thank you for watching, everybody. Peace and happiness.